Hey everybody, this is Zen Kahet with Slade Games, and you're looking at Smite again. Um, I wanted to touch on something that not a lot of people make videos about or whatever, but teamwork is extremely it's extremely important in this game. Now I know that when you go to just normal arena, you're not going to get a whole lot of that because everybody's kind of running around doing their own thing. But see, here's the thing about it, okay? If you have played the gods or even know what they do, if you know their abilities, like just, let's take Fenrir for example here, okay? I know that he's got his rune charging as passive, he's got his leap, he has a self buff, and he's got this semi-leap, that follows them for 4 strikes. And I know that his ultimate is Ragnarok, where you can pick somebody up and run around with him. I don't have to play him. I don't have to be playing him to know that. I know what Hades has as abilities. I know what each one of them does. I know what his ultimate is. Okay, for a better example, where's Ares? See, okay, I know what he does. I know what his abilities do, and more importantly, I know what his ultimate does. Okay, this is his, Searing Fletch is where he spits fire from his shield. Bolts of Defenses gives him and surrounding allies increased protections. He has a chain of shackles that he can use on one target, and then he's got basically the same thing only in multi-form as his ultimate, and when the duration ends it pulls all the enemies to him, stunning them. So I know what he does. I don't really play him very much, but I know what he does. So here's the thing, guys. When you're playing Arena, and try and learn about the other gods, even if it's just watching a video, going through their, even if you don't own them, you can still click on them and read their abilities and whatnot to know what they do. Because knowing what your fellow teammates are capable of will tell you better how you should be using your abilities. Like I know with Fenrir at 5 runes, my leap will also stun anybody in that surrounding area when it land, when he lands. So that's a great way to set up for, somebody else. Or like say if you have an Ares on your team that does chains, pulls them in, stuns, then I can leap in, stun them again. People can get some extra damage on them. I can pick a target to, start brutalizing. Or if I'm close enough to the base, I can pick them up, run them into the tower and get them killed. But I mean, that's teamwork. And the problem right now is that you see a lot in Arena is that nobody fucking works together. I mean, unless you have a clanmate or somebody that you're on voice with, nobody works together. They just kind of all do their own thing. They roam around, and you end up having a really shitty game because of it. Like, let's look at these. Let's go to my history here. These last 2 games were forfeit because of that. Nobody's working together. I would try and stun and set people up. They ignored it. Uh, it's just fucking bad. I mean, I know that like these aren't the best scores on the board, but let's look at this for a minute, okay? Let's look at my team. I had the most kills. I had a relatively high death count. I had 6 assists, but I was probably the most active member of my team. I was 4 out of 6 slots. Yeah, I don't know. Look at these guys. You got Rama over here, which okay. This god, he's a really shitty god. He shouldn't be able to rack up 16 kills on us with that piece of shit Rama. So it's all about working together. They were working together very well. They were annihilating us because everybody was too spread out. Nobody wanted. And see, here's the other problem. You got 1, 2, 3 people that were in a fucking clan together. and they were fucking terrible. You know, I mean, 1 to 5, 2 to 8, 3 to 9. Uh, this is bad. Come on. Yeah, and let's look at the other game. Yeah, I didn't have a great score either. You know, but we had this guy in here, and from playing with him, he's really bad. He had Apollo who didn't even try. He had Yanis who didn't even try. You know, so we had Fenrir, myself, you know, Poseidon and Ares who were making an attempt, but you know, without having that coordination and that input from our other teammates, it's no good. Now let's look at a good game, okay? See, here's us, you know, 16-4, 16, 17-4, 17, 10-1, 31. I mean, yeah, this is one of my clan members here. We have a thing going that, you know, when I leave, she'll come in with locusts, you know, and then I'll start picking one to start brutalizing, and, you know, she'll come in with her alt and beam. So we were doing very well together, you know, and the rest of our team was working well together. Neith was doing her job. You know, so that game went well. This game right here, I'm not counting because two of the enemy teams surrendered before the game even started, and so we were just fucking around. Yeah. I don't remember what happened in this game. Let's see, is this the Freya one? Yep. We had two people in another clan that, you know, one of them did very well. One of them did kind of poorly. But Ymir's a tank, so he's not supposed to get a whole lot of kills, and you got Mercury there. So we did relatively well in that game. No, it's all about teamwork. And you know, you don't necessarily have to be on voice in order to work with your team. You do have to know what your god can and can't do, and you do have to know what your team's gods can and cannot do. So, like if you're playing a Scylla, but you have a Hades on your team. Yeah, if you have a Hades on your team, like if I were playing Scylla and there were Hades on my team, I could tell you right off the bat that I would not be leading with any of Scylla's, any of Scylla's abilities. I would be waiting. I'd be contributing where I could. Dropping crushes. Rooting if somebody's caught out. Uh, maybe protecting my teammates by rooting somebody who's chasing them. But in order to do anything big, I would be waiting for Hades to pop his ultimate, and then I would be laying down a crush, and if I absolutely needed to, then I would pop my ult and dive it into his whirlpool. Because that's the best use for those two. And I know that he's got a lot of sustain. Scylla doesn't have very much sustain. She's, a glass cannon, but she works very well with him. Another person who works very well with Hades is, like, if we're talking about just ultimates, Vulcan. His ult works really well with that. So you just have to be aware of what you're capable of, what your teammates are capable of, know what your abilities do, and try and figure out how you can work them in with your teammates' abilities. And when you see one of your teammates use one of their abilities that can feed into yours, then you go ahead and use yours. That's how you can work as a team without having to be on voice. Just be wary of things, and there's ways to counter everything. Constantly take note of where your enemy gods are on the field. Know the map. Know which order the buffs are in. Here's a tip for, like, if you like playing Fenrir. I like playing Fenrir. He's a fun god to play for. But what I'll do is every now and again, like when a buff of mine drops off and I know that there's going to be a buff camp up, I will sneak off and pop the buff camp, not only get the buff, but to use his passive ability, which is every time he lands successfully a basic attack, he gets a rune. At 5 runes, all of his abilities do something extra. So the proper way to play him is to always make sure that you're at 5 runes before you go on executing attacks and whatnot. Sometimes that's not possible, and it happens. But like things where it really counts, like Unchained, when you leap, it's great to have those 5 runes because it stuns on hit, which allows your teammates to come and do some other things, maybe pop down an AoE or whatever. So it's really important to know your god that you're playing and know what your teammates are capable of, so you can better work together without having to be told, okay, well, I'm going to pop chains now. Okay, go ahead and leap. Okay, Scylla, go ahead and ult. You shouldn't have to have constant communications. You should be well versed enough in the gods that you play and the gods that your teammates play to be able to do that without communication. So I just wanted to touch on that because it just seems there's a lot of, people get into arena, and I understand that it's not ranked. Don't get me wrong. Yes, the game is supposed to be for fun, but it doesn't make it very fun for your teammates when you just run around, you don't know how to do anything, you don't bother finding out how to do anything, and you just don't give a shit. That causes a loss. Um, makes people trying to work on mastery, makes it harder for them. Like I was trying to get Fenrir mastery, and if I lose, I only get like, between 2 and 4, and it's going to take me forever to rank them up if I keep losing, and I absolutely fucking hate losing because I'm on a team full of 4 idiots that don't know how to play their god or what other gods do because they spend and invest no time in learning. This is a competitive game. I wish that I could say, oh, well, it's just happy-go-lucky, but the fact of the matter is, if you play a competitive game and you're just kind of one of those happy-go-lucky people that doesn't really care whether they win or lose, you're going to piss a lot of people off. People play these types of games to win because they want to play ranked and they want to get into leagues and go to these events and whatnot. And when you do that, you're essentially wasting their time. So I just wanted to get that out there. So put a little more effort into your playing. Learn your stuff, and I have a whole series coming up explaining what the god's abilities do with a video, tutorial on, demonstrating on how they work and all that. So please use them. I really, really want everybody to get something out of that. I can't do it as well as, say, Trend Kill does, which I also recommend. I know that, Trend Kill, I know you don't know me and I don't really know you, but I'm advocating for you here, brother. Your videos are great. They're very concise. So if you don't want to watch mine, and that's totally cool, it doesn't matter to me, go watch his. He's got quite a few of the gods covered, and it explains very well what the abilities do, the synergy between them, if you're playing against that god, what to look out for. Very helpful for new people. So I do recommend that. And again, that's Trend Kill. So go ahead and look that up. If you can't find his name, it's just type in Smite Know Your Enemy, and it'll pop up with a list of them with the god behind it and whatnot. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, go ahead and add me in game, or comment on the video below or any other video, and I'll make sure to get to it when I can. Thank you for watching.